Hey guys, it's Cloudy. How are you all? I've been gone for about a month, and that was because I had a little bit of an accident. Maybe some of you guys caught the posts that I posted at the beginning of the month, and then all month I've been posting shorts here and there. So this weekend I actually had a lot of catching up to do because last week I had a bunch of campus workshops that I had to attend on the weekend, and then this week all the new seasonal anime came out, so I've been working on catching up on all of that. So today we're going to be talking about some of the new shows that fall has recently released and what I'm watching. Keep in mind that I've only watched episode 1 because this is the first week of the seasonal anime, and I'm also not going to be talking too much about established franchises and their new seasonal releases. We're mainly going to look at a lot of shows that have just recently come out. So without further ado, let's get started. The first anime I want to talk about is How I Attended an All Guys Mixer. Now, the PV was really funny and entertaining, and honestly, I didn't expect the show to take itself very seriously. The first episode definitely delivers on the kind of energy and atmosphere that was teased in the trailers. Basically, there's this guy, he gets invited to a mixer that's 3-on-3, and he brings along 2 of his friends. When he arrives at the mixer, he realizes that the 3 girls that they were supposed to meet actually have been cross-dressing, so it's kind of like an all-guys mixer. And the funny thing is, they have seen what these girls originally look like. They're just having a sort of gay panic because they're not only beautiful girls, they're also very attractive and handsome guys. For some reason, they dress up as guys because they have some sort of part-time job that requires this sort of cross-dressing. So chaos and comedy ensues. I found the first episode really entertaining, and it was just this no-brainer, no-stress kind of show. So I thought that was a great way to kick off my fall seasonal stuff. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is one that I've been looking forward to a lot. It's called I'll Become a Villainess in History. The more wicked I become, the more the prince adores me. And if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know that I love villainous isekai anime. Whenever cute girls are reincarnated into their past life, whenever they are thrown into their favorite video game, they can recreate their own life as a princess. I love those kinds of shows, and usually when it comes to isekai villainous anime, the heroine either wants to stray away from the villainous route or change their past and create a better future. This is a kind of more hilarious setup because our main character, Alicia, actually wants to become the best villainess possible. When she originally played the game in her modern timeline, her favorite character was the villainess and not the holier-than-thou heroine. So when she becomes Alicia in the game, she actually decides she's going to become the most top-tier villainess ever known. But actually, she ends up attaining a lot of love and adoration from other characters that were supposed to love the heroine. So we're gonna kind of see the world shift a bit, and the character who is originally the villainess is actually gonna become the main character. So I really like the setup and the premise. I love the character design of Alicia when she's shown in her little kid and teenager form. She's really adorable. I didn't find the other character designs to be that captivating, but I feel like the interactions between the characters is what's gonna keep me watching for the rest of the season. Okay, the next one that I watched yesterday was called Acro Trip. There have been a lot of magical girl shows that have come out and tried to subvert the genre since Madoka Magica got really famous more than 10 years ago. And Acro Trip is another one of those magical girl series that tries to put a twist on the typical magical girl formula. Chizuko is a girl who went to live in the countryside with her grandparents, and she realizes that in this small little countryside town, there is a local magical girl hero named Berry Blossom. And Berry Blossom is this magical girl who basically fights evil, as all magical girls do. But what Chizuko realizes is that Berry Blossom is actually not as hype and as magical as you think she would be. And so Chizuko ends up taking up her own role in the fight between good and evil, and she gets thrown into the magical world, but not entirely as a magical girl. So I found the premise to be quite interesting. And when I checked out the first episode, the pacing was a little bit slow for me, but the characters were kind of interesting. They have very quirky character designs. So far, I think my favorite character is actually the little bear minions. They're not even main characters. But if you look closely at the character designs of the series, their eyes are almost designed like colorfully striped Easter eggs, and I feel like it's trying to give the show a unique aesthetic to make it stand out against other magical girl series. Another magical girl show that's coming out this season is called Magilumiere Co, which is a magical girl show that revolves around magical girls who are working in a company setting. So in this world, this version of modern Japan, there are magical infestations called kai. They appear in like random places around the city, and magical girls basically act as exterminators. So it's their job to go in, defeat the monsters. And what's interesting is that the magical girls have their own like equipment, they have regulations, they're basically under like corporate organizations. And we've never seen this kind of like magical girl setup before, because usually magical girl shows have a very like whimsical fantasy coming of age theme. But this show is particularly interesting because we follow the perspective of a young woman who has just graduated and she's searching for a job. And because there is such a high demand for magical girls in this world, there are a lot of companies that promote and employ magical girls to fight these kai creatures. I didn't think much of the show when I first watched the PV, but actually episode 1 was pretty entertaining, and I love seeing technology mixed with magic, and we got to see a glimpse of that when we saw the magical girl fighting from Magilumiere. And also a lot of the character designs are pretty unique. For example, the boss of the Magilumiere company is actually this like really giant muscular man, and he's just dressed up in like a magical girl outfit because he just loves magical girls, and like this is his passion. He's like the CEO of this company. So I thought that was really hilarious. I also really like the go-getting attitude of our female protagonist, so I'm very excited to see more of that this season. The next one I'm going to talk about is also along the same lines, but rather than magical girls, we're talking about little witch magicians. This series is called The Story of the Girl Who Couldn't Become a Witch. It has a fantasy, school life, fairy tale book kind of vibes. If you just like watch the trailer or watch the opening, it almost looks like a watercolor storybook painting and storybook series come to life. It's really beautiful. Everything is in pastel. It basically follows a girl who wants to become a witch, but she doesn't have the magical qualities needed to rank and test into the magician program. So the academy that she attends has a standard program and a magic program, and basically all the powerful magician students are put into this class and all of the normal students are put into another class. For some reason, even if you do have magical abilities, it's just very difficult to test into this elite part of the school. And the setup actually reminds me a little bit of Mahoka Koko de Tose, where they had Bloom students and Weed students based on their magical abilities. So this girl, Philia, she's very passionate about becoming a magician, and we're gonna follow her journey to see if she can level up her skills and become an outstanding magician in her own route. What I found really interesting about the series is just the art style and the character designs. It just really captivated me, and it reminded me a lot of like other little witch anime series that we've seen in the past. So I have a lot of high expectations for this show. Another show that I know that's getting a lot of hype this season is a sports anime called Blue Box. Taiki Inomata plays badminton and Shinatsu Kano plays basketball, and they are both in very intensive sports programs. When you first watch the trailer, it gives me Blue Spring Ride vibes meets sports anime. When we think of sports anime, we tend to think of like very intense, almost shonen style, competitive, out of this world sports performance kind of shows. We've seen Haikyuu garner a lot of popularity, and then just like crazy out of the box sports shows like Kuroko no Basket, also very famous. For this show particularly, it is more toned down. It focuses on like high school growth and just like the development of young athletes who are trying to find their way and figure out how to balance their ambitions with their emotions. I love the art style of the manga, especially the character designs, and I just really love the way that the anime was shot just from episode 1, certain angles where you zoom in on characters' faces, it gives you a lot of like details and insight into their feelings of the moment. And then also there's like wide shots where you can kind of see how the characters interact. There is some kind of romantic tension between the characters, and I just want to see how these two characters from very different sports worlds are going to end up connecting with each other. There's a lot of love for the manga, so obviously people are going to have a lot of high expectations for the anime. Okay, and then for the last show we're going to talk about is called NegaPosi Angler, which is like negative positive angler. Angler as in like referring to fishing. So this is basically a fishing slice of life anime. Honestly, I didn't really have high expectations for it because the initial synopsis was like pretty depressing. It follows a high school or university student who's basically just like down in the dumps. He has no idea what to do with his life. He is very depressed and mostly just spends his life trapped in his apartment. For some reason, he ends up on a boat with a bunch of friends and they teach him how to fish. Fishing ends up being like a guiding way that leads him out of this like dark time in his life. He realizes that he gets hooked into fishing and it sort of helps him navigate a lot of life struggles that he's been having. So if you're thinking of like fishing as a metaphor for life, I think that's a good way to approach this series. Episode 1 was pretty chill, so if you're looking for something that delves into slightly more niche hobbies, then I think this one will be the one for you. Okay, so I run through a lot of different anime for the fall season. Obviously, I can't watch everything. Fall is one of those like stronger seasons throughout the year where there are tons of anime drops for different genres, different franchises, season 2s, or just new seasons for established franchises such as Sword Art Online, Gale Online Season 2, Natsume's Book of Friends Season 7, and also Blue Lock, which is like getting a different arc animated. Ranma and a Half is getting their 2024 adaptation. So this is a great season to dive into some like older series. And also Rurouni Kenshin is getting another arc as well. So there's just like tons of stuff to cover. So if there are some shows that I haven't talked about that you're very excited about, don't forget to leave a comment below and also like this video. It helps me out a lot. And I'll talk to you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!